Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Well, I am sad this evening because, well, I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm sad because tonight's interview marks the end of our in season volleyball coverage. Right now, as I sit here and record this interview with a wonderful student athlete, we have just two teams remaining in Brevard County FHSAA state tournament action. We sent six, we have two remaining, Vieira and Merritt Island. But the young lady that I have here tonight is a sophomore, and she is part of a team that had an outstanding season. They certainly went through a difference of emotions from last year at this time to this year at this time. And she really has the opportunity, as we were just sitting here looking, to really have some remarkable numbers, career stats by the time she's done playing. She's already got well over 1,000 career assists, pushing right at 1,200. One of the best volleyball players in Brevard County, just a sophomore. Help me welcome here to Brevard Sports Network tonight. I call her the super sophomore. Sorry, Jackson. Shamiah Richardson. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to have you here in the BSN studios. Now, for the sake of transparency, we tried this once before. We had some technical issues, so this is technically take two. But as we alluded to, this is probably a better time to do this because now we've completed a full season. We can look back, recap, and look ahead. So let's do this. Let's talk about the Vipers. 13-6 this year, state tournament appearance. But I want to start with this. Last year, at this time, I received probably 10 or 12 emails from parents of players and volleyball fans wanting to know why Space Coast didn't qualify for the state tournament. I couldn't provide an answer, and neither could the FHSAA. Simply this year, really, with the regular season that you had at one point, you won 11 of 12, dropping just one match in that span. And then reaching the district championship game, you locked up that eighth and final playoff berth in the state. Take me through the difference of emotions last year to last Sunday when the or Saturday night when the state tournament brackets were announced.
Um, Last year like you said, we don't know how we didn't make it, so it was kind of frustration and just we were upset because we knew we could have made it
Right.
possibly, but it was more of a frustration between all of us because we were confused on how they did get back in and
Right.
we didn't. But this past weekend, um, it was an experience. It was great.
You left it in your hands this year. In other words, you took control. You won the matches that you were supposed to win this year. The only teams you lost to, with the exception of Satellite, I would say, because I think you and the Scorps are pretty even. Obviously, they didn't make it, so I got to, in our final rankings, you'll be ranked ahead of Satellite. But your losses came to the Merritt Islands, to the Astronauts of the world, all Santa Fe, all teams ranked ahead of you. So you certainly never played down to your competition, and that's a big key. Tell me what you really liked most about the 2022 Space Coast Vipers.
Um, what I liked more, like you said, we didn't really play down. I mean, there was a couple of times where oh, when you play an easier team, you kind of chill
Coast,
out,
right?
and we really didn't do that. Like I would say, Rockledge was definitely our best game that
Yeah.
we've played, and we just communicated very well. So
It's funny you say that because when you look at the schedule, you look at the games that, because I just still don't know how they rank. The FHSAA ranks these teams. I have no clue. But there are three games to me that stand out that I think put you in that eighth spot: Rockledge, Cocoa, and Edgewood. I think
yes,
those three games are the games that really lock that eighth seed up for you because Edgewood was a good team. They didn't make it. Cocoa had arguably their best year of volleyball. They really turned it on at the end. And Coach Chapp always has a good team over there, although I know he's disappointed with the win loss record there this season. But I think and then the win over Heritage as well, and then you beat Cocoa again in the district tournament, which I think was huge because I really believe the winner of that Cocoa match was the eighth seed. If
yes,
Cocoa could have upset you, it could have been them. Because I think if you don't make that district tournament final, I think we have the same problem again
Yes.
that you're not in that. Okay, so you get to go play big bad Santa Fe. The last time I saw Santa Fe was back in 2018, and Merritt Island had beaten them for a state championship. The number 2 ranked team in the state. I think they're the best ranked volleyball. I think they are the best volleyball team in the state, ranked nationally. Obviously, you go in as underdogs. They took out Astronaut in 3. They took you out in 3. So they basically just rolled right over Brevard County.
Yes.
What did you learn from that loss to Santa Fe?
That there's still room to improve.
Right.
Literally. There's
In what areas?
and everything.
Yeah.
Setting, digging, hitting, blocking. I was like, there's always room to get better, and they taught us that. I think they taught each and every one of us that.
What was the one thing that really stood out to you about them that they did? We were talking about this earlier, and you mentioned something to me. What was it?
Their communication is great.
Yeah.
Great, and they cover the court very well.
And the ability to not commit the same mistake over and over,
Yes.
at least back to back, right?
Yes, they would shake off a misserve, a hit into the net, and just forget about it.
As you see the sport of volleyball, I meant to ask you this question the last time, so I want to ask you now. In baseball, the guy playing, well, really anywhere on the diamond, can take a play off. In football, you can take a play off. In basketball, you can take a play off. Really, in any sport that's not an individual, that's a team sport that requires a certain amount of individuals to complete a team on a court or a field, you can take a play off. You cannot do that in volleyball.
No.
What is the most important things in volleyball to you? Like, what's important to you on that floor?
The communication,
Yeah,
100%.
you keep talking about that's huge, huh?
It has
Why?
to be.
Why is that so big?
Communication is a big part of volleyball. Without communication, you don't know who's getting what. Injuries happen a lot more without communication, and communication just makes the sport, not going to say 10 times easier, but it does make it easier for everybody else around you. So,
From that more from a communicatable standpoint there between your teammates. What would you say is that? Because like I'm watching the playoffs, right? I'm like calling the Merritt Island game yesterday, and I noticed serve receive. I didn't realize how important it was. Talk about serve receive and things like the physical aspects of the game. Where would you rank the importance of things like serve receive, serving, all of that? Talk about that.
they each hold a very important role. There's no way. I would like to say serve receive is way more important than actually serving.
Got you.
Because someone can serve 20 aces on you and you guys are just stuck in the same place.
Right.
But serving, you could serve and let's say their serve receive isn't that good. You're just stuck serving 20 balls in a row. Yes, it's good to have a great serve and it does back it up, but serve receive is way more important than just serving.
I like that answer because I've been told that. On the screen right now, you're looking at Shamiah's career stats. And the beauty of playing at Space Coast or Coco is that you get to play in the 7th grade, which is
Yes.
amazing. But not all student athletes take advantage of that. I think of one other student athlete that I know of off the top of my head that I can spit out that's taken advantage of and what I mean take advantage of is to play as well as you have since the 7th. And that's a young man by the name of Dejavon Dede White over at Coco who played for the Tigers from the 7th grade year, varsity football, all the way until the time he was a senior. And he put up numbers just like you, commensurate with football in that. But I look at your numbers, and you have an opportunity to really do some special things, career statistics wise. As I look at this, with 2 more years to go, you could be a 750 kill. You have 250. You could have 250 aces. You could have a total of 150 blocks. I mean, it goes on and on. And by the way, congratulations as a sophomore getting 1,000 career assists. You are pushing 1,200. Now, I know stats don't matter to you because you are a team player through and through. But talk about what it would mean to you to rack up some of the biggest numbers that have ever occurred in this county.
It would feel great,
Yeah,
100%, because it's something that you can always carry with you. And it's always nice to think, oh yeah, I got a thousand
I did that.
assists. Like I did that. Like it's just
Right.
a moment, but like you said, still a very humble player, and I know how I got there. So
You don't get to be as good as you are without playing this sport year round. So I want to
yes,
talk about that. Um, Volleyball, like a lot of sports these days at the high school level, is a 24/7, 365 commitment. The first thing I want to ask you, Shamiah, is tell me where your love of this sport developed and how it grew.
it 100% developed because, well, shout out to my older sister because she wanted to play. So then I kind of just followed in her footsteps. But I started off at Starlings, and Fred Howe, he 100% made me love the game.
And wanted to
Just
work at it. Who has pushed you the most? Who are some of the individuals that have gotten you to this point?
definitely between Fred Howe and Terrence.
Coach Chap.
Yes.
Love watching him coach.
They had, they just made me get the passion. They would ride me, they would push me to my limit. There would be tears at practice, but I mean, they pushed me to be the best player I could possibly be.
Is there a
So,
moment that you remember? Because you're still young. Is there a
yes.
moment you remember where you said, you know what, I can be damn good at this? Do you remember that moment? Or was it a couple of things put together where you sat down one night? Did you ever go through a point where you didn't love it or you thought you were falling out of love with it, but you've always loved it?
I've always loved
And I
it.
think that's the passion part of it. There's a difference
Yeah.
between love and passion when it comes to sports. And if you have a passion for it, you never lose it.
No.
You can fall out of love with something,
But
but if
there's
you have a
always a
passion
passion.
for it, yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous difference because, yeah, I mean, it really is. We're here with super sophomore Shamiah Richardson of the Space Coast Vipers. Talk about a player or two that's going to be, moving along with you that's helping to establish and continue to build this foundation for the Vipers.
Definitely Hannah Schaefer. She's one of our middles,
Yeah.
right along with, I would hand it to, because we just got a transfer, Malia.
Okay.
So they play a very big role along with it because we got a transfer who is a DS,
Okay.
which she puts a lot of effort into it.
They're hard to find, good
Yes,
ones,
yes.
because not everybody wants to lay on the floor.
No, not at all.
No, that's a true story. Um, Back to playing this sport 24/7, 365. You play club volleyball for Countdown.
Yes.
What do you love most about club volleyball? Because it's a different environment, it's a different atmosphere. You go against, you could be going against a teammate that you've got to love in 6 months, but now you're looking to put one through her chest. Okay, what do you love about club volleyball?
100% the people you meet and the
Yeah,
girls, and because you just spend so much more time with them. And like you said, you could love a girl, you have to love a girl in 4 months, but you're definitely getting in it right now. Like, it's
tell me,
definitely
who's your
about that.
coach in Countdown?
Connor.
Tell me about Coach Connor because I know he's an assistant at Merritt Island.
Yes.
I know he does a great job. I know he took a tremendous jump to four Countdown. Tell me about Coach Connor.
He is very hardworking. He spends a lot of time with us, and he's very supportive. Like on and off the court, very supportive. Like if you were injured, he would make you sit out for the rest of the match. He's
You're
like,
done.
you're like your body's more important than anything. But
He's
he
right.
pushes us very, very hard. Right along with Taylor, which is another.
But it's the relationships that you value
Yes.
the most. I think it
Yes.
speaks well to your character, Shemai, and I don't think there was ever any doubt about that. Big heart, big character. Um, let's talk about academics. How do you do academically? Because I know you want to play this sport in college, and the most important part about that is going to be the GPAs. How do you do academically?
I do good. I'm better at math
Are
more than
you? What do
anything.
you love about math?
I think there's just multiple things going on at once. So
Right, you.
like you
So
always just have to. It's
just
like
like
it's a
the player
puzzle.
you are in the court,
Yes,
you're that type of
multiple
student in the
things.
classroom.
Yeah, but reading,
No, yeah, don't feel bad about
yeah,
that.
not my biggest thing.
Society has so spoiled us to not even want to pick up a book. Thank
Literally.
God for Audible. You know what I'm saying? Because I always read. I always tell her, "Have you read this book?" Yeah, I read it. When do you find time to read? Well, I've listened to it.
I've
Yeah,
listened to
yeah.
it.
I've closed my eyes
I
and read
right,
it.
right. I can see the words as he's speaking them. Okay, that helps. Um, and then people that do read books, they just thumb their nose at you.
Yeah,
You know,
like
yeah, whatever. I got the same thing you got out of it. You spent 8 months. Um, um, is there a college you have in your sights now, or
I do.
as you embark on this recruiting process, because that's what really kicks into gear for you now. You've finished your sophomore year. You've established yourself as one of the best players in this county. I remember in your eighth or ninth grade year broadcasting a satellite game than what you were playing in. And I was so impressed with you that I asked Coach Bolton about playing against you. Um, is there a particular college you'd like to attend? Because recruiters watch these, so just get the word out there now. Where does Shamiah want to go play volleyball?
100% UCF.
Okay,
That's a school I really, really, really want to go to. Just the academic wise too.
the nice. What do you want to study? Do you know that yet?
100%. Something in the nursing field. Like I
Really?
100% want to do
Okay.
something like that.
So that's you know that is a serve. Do you, okay, so in your personal life, what makes you think there's a lot that goes on with the service part of it,
Yes.
the you know it. How do you know it's something for you?
It's just always like a care to want to care for people. Like, if someone fell, scraped their knee, of course I want to be there and help them. Just small things like that. And I know that just I'd be watching things on TikTok and YouTube. I was like, wow, like nursing just seems like something like I really want to do, like with a passion.
Can you deal with the gore?
I can.
I
I
can't.
I used to pull out my brother's teeth when we were younger.
Oh,
So
really?
I could do them.
Yeah, you can deal with it. I can't. Man, this has been so much fun. We're not done yet, and that's the beauty of doing this now as compared to then. Who are some of the best? As I'm just going to ask you now because you're the final interview of the regular season. Now we got post game interviews we'll be posting coming up, but that's far different than what we're doing. Or some of the teams that really impressed you on the other side of the floor this year that you played. Like you're going to have to battle astronaut coming up. Aren't you glad Kylie Redfern's graduating?
Yes.
Short and sweet, yeah.
Who,
Definitely Santa Fe is
yeah,
top one. Top one, 100%.
great school.
Great. Um,
What about in division? Coco. That was a
they
really good district this year.
this was 100% one of their best years.
Yeah.
100%. I give it to them. Between
Coach Penn did a good job there.
Yes, between Talia, which is their libero, and I didn't catch their outside's name. I know she's a senior.
Parham.
Yes, between those two together,
They were good.
They
Yeah,
just
they were
they
fun to
had it.
watch. But you got them twice. You got them not once but twice this year, and good for you. Here with Shamiah Richardson, the super sophomore, and you've been seeing Shamiah's highlights and her stats, of course, coming up on the screen throughout the course of this interview as we wind it down the volleyball season. And I volleyball has just we broadcast far more volleyball this year than we did any other sport. That includes baseball and basketball last year. The two teams we didn't get to were Space Coast and Palm Bay. So next year we vow at least 3 games each for both of those programs next year. And how can we not? We got Shamiah Richardson to get out there and broadcast as well. Let's find out a little about. Tell me about your family.
my family, big supporters.
Yeah.
Big
Tell me about
supporters.
mom because mom goes to the games and she is intense watching them.
100%. She is my biggest supporter. And, I mean, it's the best thing that you could ask for. And she does watch a lot of volleyball. Like I said, last time when we interviewed, I feel like a proud mom. When she comes in my room, she's like, oh, look, I learned this and this. And it's just a very proud moment.
Your mom doesn't strike me as one of those types of parents, though, that will sugarcoat much.
No.
She strikes me as the type where if, she will tell you when she knows that there's an area that you can improve on.
Yes,
How does that
100%.
work?
It's just, I mean,
You can do better here or.
yes, that's just like any college coach. Like,
Right.
you never want to take anything like to heart. I mean, there's always going to be, that really mean college coach or that really mean high school coach that's
Right.
going to tell you bluntly. So, I mean, when she tells me, I look at it back because she also records for me. So,
Okay, nice.
so I look back and then it's just something that I need to work on. And I start noticing it and
Do
I take it.
you, how do you, okay, so, there are several different ways that people can, I always had to have somebody standing over top of me. Like I was a quarterback in high school, so I had to be independent in some way. But I did tend to stray, and I wasn't always the best behaved. I did try to lead by example when it came to being on the field. I wasn't necessarily the best off of it. But I think the perfect student athlete, if there is such a thing, nobody's perfect, but the good student athlete leads on and off the field. How do you like to be coached?
Very much tough love.
Yeah.
Like it's nice having, like it's good to have fun here and there. Like, you don't want like practice to be like a beat down, like you dread going. Then, no, I was like, but tough love definitely is something
Cool.
that works for me because once you get really laid back and cool, I was like, that's when practices start becoming really lenient and really like you're just not getting better. That's me personally, though.
No, I like it, and it's unusual to hear a young woman your age or a young man your age say that's how they want. There are students that say they want to be coached that way, but once it happens, that the world just opens up to them in ways they've never seen before, and they
Yeah.
don't like it. But you strike me as the type that has been coached that way before and does indeed thrive on it. I want to get to know you personally, so let's talk about Shamiah Richardson off the volleyball floor when there is such an occasion, because I know the demands of the sport. Tell me, what if volleyball didn't exist? Is there another sport you prefer? Do you like watching any other sports? No.
That's a hard one right there. Me and my mom were just talking about this yesterday. Um, I mean, maybe I would have found soccer, basketball, but I've always
It's volleyball.
been intrigued, yes, by
Gotcha.
volleyball.
Who's your
100%.
favorite volleyball? You have a favorite volleyball player?
I think it's Samantha Bricio. I think that's her name.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Yep. Yep.
100%.
That's her. Um, what do you do for fun when you can have fun? But when you're not in school, when you're not on the court, what do you do to relax, unwind, and have fun?
Sometimes I draw, but it's like I like hanging out with friends, like
Drawing.
doing.
You told me that the
Yes,
last time. I want to talk, and you got to send me some copies of your drawings so I can get
I
them in this
would.
video. Okay. What do you like to draw?
There was like an animation time where I would draw anime.
What about
Just
now?
now.
Anything?
I really just
Do you ever just sit down and draw to pass the time?
yeah, like I draw random things.
Do you?
Yeah, I tried to draw an apple yesterday.
Did you? Now you're looking at her drawings on the screen. So see, I put you on the spot. Now you have to send them to me. Send me some of them. Uh, okay, after a match, a tough match, it's been a dogfight out there, and you're hungry, and mom says, "You know what? You played so well. I'm gonna take you anywhere you want to go eat. Where are you going? Where do you go?
Where do I go, or
Where,
where would I
where,
prefer
where,
to go?
where do you prefer to go? If you get to pick anywhere you want to go eat, where is it, and what are you ordering?"
That's a hard one. I would definitely say something along the lines of Firehouse subs. 100%.
All right, tell me about a
100%.
Shamiah Richardson sub. What kind of sub you get?
I'm a very picky eater, so it's just like turkey. I get American cheese, black olives, lettuce, onions, mayonnaise, and that's
You-
really about it.
That's
You gotta
it.
stick with the basics.
Now, are you the type that do you like? Okay, so do you like potato chips with your subs?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can.
all right. Yeah, I see. I'm a chip guy, and I got to put the chips on the sub. Have you ever been to Jersey Mike's?
No, I
You
don't
gotta
think so.
try Jersey Mike's. I'm just putting it out there. All right, so at home, at night, you pop the ear pods in. What are you listening to? What's your favorite kind of music?
100% throwbacks.
Yeah. All right.
Throwbacks.
See, when you say throwback, I'm 52. That could go all the way to the 70s. What's your definition of throwback?
Like, not,
Not back to my
throwback.
yeah, right,
But
right.
it's like Red Nose, you have Milkshake. There's just
Okay. All right. All right. I like it.
It's
All
the
right.
hype
all right.
ones.
Kind of like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
where we're like the peak of
Yes.
Be quiet, Caleb. You're making me feel old. Early 2000s.
I was
No,
born
I'm
in the early
joking. I'm joking.
2000s. Was there?
What's the song right now? What is your go-to song right now? What gets you motivated? What pumps you up?
Mm,
You got to listen to it before you play. What is it?
definitely milkshake. It has to stay
Got to
there.
be milkshake.
It has to stay there.
Is it the song My Milkshake?
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
Wow, I like that. As we get set to wrap up here, what happens now? What do you do now that the season's over? And what do you take time off? How does this work?
No such thing as time off. I start club. I think the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's next week
Yep.
or 2 weeks from now. But I start club right back up, and I get to see my teammates, and I'm very excited
Is
about that.
I know Countdown is new and hasn't traveled, but will you guys be traveling this year at all?
Yes.
Where will you be going? Will you going to Atlanta?
I think so. Yes,
Okay,
and
well,
Savannah,
I hope you do
Georgia,
because I'll be going up to
Yeah.
Atlanta with Beach Wave this year,
Yeah,
and I
like
want to see you girls play.
Tampa,
I
Santa,
definitely want to see
Georgia.
you girls play up there this year. So, what would you say is if I said to you, Shamiah, you can only tell me about the 2022 season in a sentence or two about the Space Coast Vipers, what would that, about your team, and I'm going to ask you the same question about you, how would you sum up the 2022 season?
Very hardworking.
Yeah?
We worked very hard,
And it paid off, didn't it?
and it did.
And for Shamiah Richardson, how would you summarize your season in a sentence?
Always room for improvement.
Always, well, I tell you, I love talking to you. I think you've been a phenomenal interview. And you know what the best part of this is? We went 10 minutes longer than we did on the last one. That's always good, right? Shamiah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just love talking to Shamiah. She's an outstanding volleyball player, and I'm so glad we had the opportunity to do this again. And want to thank Miss Richardson as well for accommodating us because we have not been easy to work with to get her here. There's been a lot that have come up, and she has been just amazing about it, and we couldn't be more thankful. So I'd like to thank Caleb for producing this, and of course, my esteemed guest here tonight, the super sophomore, Shamiah Richardson. So for Caleb, for Shamiah, I'm Alan. Have a great night, everybody. You know the drill. Make it a sports night.